Welcome back to Australia Trains. In this video, we look at some exciting news. The pathway to a fully operational metro tunnel opening here in Melbourne. We will discuss the changes that the opening of the tunnel will bring across all affected lines on our network, such as service frequency, routing, and rolling stock. Most of the footage in this video won't likely be possible to see once the metro tunnel fully opens, so with that in mind, hope you enjoy the video. We're first going to take a look at what the government is calling the summer start. Essentially, the soft opening of the metro tunnel, or what I like to call the all and more period. Services on all lines will be running as per normal with minor adjustments to regular operation during this period. However, from mid-December, the metro tunnel will still open to passengers, adding an additional 240 services a week. During this period, extra services will run from Westall to West Footscray via the metro tunnel between approximately 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. on weekdays. This section of track is the only section of track that has the high capacity signalling, which is the special new signalling that is being utilised through the metro tunnel. Then on weekends, things get even better. Extra services will run between Westall and West Footscray from the usual roughly 10 a.m. all the way to 7 p.m, with some services being extended to run all the way from East Pakenham to Sunbury, but less frequent. At this stage, it looks like trains will run at a 20-minute frequency between Westall and West Footscray, and then on weekends, some of those trains might be extended to as far as East Pakenham and Sunbury. But possibly the icing on the cake is to entice more people to utilise public transport and check out the metro tunnel during this period. As a result, the state government announced in October that all public transport will be free for everyone during the weekends in December and January. Plus, on February 1, which is a special day that we will talk about soon. So I don't know about you, but I can guarantee on weekends I'm going to make the most of the free travel during this summer. For now, the benefits of the soft opening is that it allows an integration period for passengers to familiarise themselves with the new tunnel and its operation, but still be able to rely on the current timetable because of regular Pakenham, Cranbourne and Sunbury line services, which will run to Flinders Street and via the loop if scheduled to. This will also allow, from an operations perspective, for the system to better itself, and is a pretty common practice amongst these type of new tunnels and whatnot in railways throughout the world, to not go from 0 to 100, slowly phase in such a groundbreaking new project. Lastly, from a rail fan perspective, this is going to be such an interesting time. To have high capacity metro trains, the trains that will run through the metro tunnel, running through both the city loop, which it won't likely do once the tunnel fully opens, and the metro tunnel simultaneously is going to be so cool. And out west, having a regular mix of Comenge, Siemens and high capacity metro trains running all together. A little throwback to the 2021-2022 era along the Dandenong corridor. This will no doubt be a special roughly 2-month snapshot in Melbourne's over 150-year railway history. Something that we will take a look at on this channel when the time comes. Sunday, February the 1st, 2026. The day we have all been waiting for. The day when many changes will come into play as the metro tunnel becomes fully operational. In other words, the new norm for the Pakenham, Cranbourne and Sunbury lines. In regards to those lines, all services from February the 1st, 2026 will run through the metro tunnel and no longer be scheduled to run through the city loop or Flinders Street station. Off-peak, Dandenong to Water Gardens will have a 10-minute frequency, and between Dandenong, Pakenham and Cranbourne, trains will continue to have that 20-minute frequency. Between Water Gardens and Sunbury will be upgraded from a 40-minute frequency to every 20 minutes. If they match their timetable proving simulation days, East Pakenham services will form Sunbury services at Town Hall Station, and Cranbourne services will form Water Garden services from Town Hall. During the peak, trains will be running at a roughly 3 to 4 minute frequency between Dandenong and Water Gardens, and thus a little bit less frequent beyond those stations. Many things that were the norm and have been the norm for years will cease once the full operational tunnel opens. Namely, the N2 com engine Siemens running on these lines with passengers, the Sunbury line exiting the Northern Group and being recoloured to the light blue to match the Pakenham and Cranbourne lines. No more stopping all stations except South Kensington announcement on the Sunbury line, a funny one I'm sure many will miss. No longer every line running through Flinders Street Station, just to name a few. As mentioned before, we will look at this in more depth in the coming months on this channel. Other lines will also be affected when the Metro Tunnel opens. Positively, that is. For instance, the Cross City Group, which consists of the Frankston, Werribee and Williamstown lines, will sort of temporarily be suspended in a sense. The Frankston line will no longer run through to Werribee, Laverton or Williamstown, and rather return to the City Loop, running via the Caulfield Loop, which is Platform 2, the same as the Pakenham and Cranbourne line has been doing for a few years now, by itself, and then onto Flinders Street, where the train will run direct back to Frankston. Essentially, if you're travelling towards Flinders Street on the Frankston line, you will be on a City Loop service. If you are on a Frankston service at Flinders Street, your next stop will be Richmond Station. Naturally, that means the Werribee and Williamstown lines will no longer through run to Frankston. Instead, they will terminate and originate at Flinders Street, with future plans to through run towards Sandringham, and possibly to end the regular usage of the dreaded dungeon platform as we know it, Platform 13 at Flinders Street Station. Additional lines will see better frequencies, such as the Sandringham line moving from a 15-minute frequency to a 10-minute frequency into peak service. That is, the service between the AM and PM peak. 20-minute frequency at night on the Upfield and Craigieburn lines, improving from what is a 30-minute service. Additional peak Werribee services will run, and of course a massive frequency upgrade on the Metro Tunnel lines. We are no doubt in for a historic and exciting summer ahead. Not long to go now until we can ride a train to Town Hall Station. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you are excited for the Metro Tunnel as I am, and I think we'll leave it at that. Cheers.